I am recording.
Ba, ba, ba.
Or my notes.
Who needs them?
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 673rd episode of the Pokemon Podcast. It's super effective. No longer in a Japanese hotel. I'm your host, Steve. With me is Bobby.
Hello. I'm also not in a Japanese hotel.
Everything is right in the world. Bob is also here.
I'm not in a Japanese hotel, but I do have a joke for all of you to start the podcast off. You want to hear this?
Oh boy.
I'm proud of this one. Here we go. What's better than Vulpix and Ninetales in Pokemon Pocket? Palkia EX and 10 heads. Let's move on.
Okay. All right. This is Bob's last episode, by the way.
I wanted to add some humor like early on, but okay.
That's true. This is a very serious podcast. We have never made a single joke on this entire show. I am back from Osaka Go Fest. That will be our bonus segment, our post-show thing for anyone on the premium feed that would like longer episodes. We'll probably talk about it again in the future, especially to compare it to New Jersey Go Fest, which is happening tomorrow, because we're recording this on a Wednesday night, and the Switch 2 also comes out tomorrow. And there's a lot happening this week. So I think last week we released a really good episode since we recorded that one like 2 weeks early, and there was actually not that much news that really mattered. So that was like a good place to put that. Now we're like playing news catch up here because there's just so much news this specific week. So we're going to try to get through as much as possible. So our show today is Scarlet and Violet got updated to, I think it's 4.0. Not that that matters too much, but I have some bullet list points of what changed. They announced a Porygon 2 7-star raid to celebrate the release of the Switch 2. There was also Porygon Outbreaks that, as of today, Wednesday night, changed to Porygon 2 Outbreaks. You could maybe say that Porygon is glitchy, and that would represent the Switch. Maybe I don't. Maybe there's.
And my joke was bad.
Maybe there was a double meaning there, besides just the 2 in the name. Extradimensional Crisis. I think we talked about this with Glau, if I remember correctly. It's out now, so we'll be talking about that. And then Pokemon Sleep, actually, really big update. And I feel like we cannot ignore that, so we're going to be talking about that. And then, like I said, if you are on the premium feed, or you'd like to be on the premium feed on Patreon or on the premium Apple Podcast, you can subscribe to the premium feed to get the longer episodes, the no ads, the bonus stuff, which we'll talk about. I did not get kicked out of another Pokemon Center. Only one.
Shame.
Yeah, I tried. I tried to get kicked out of everything. Let's start with the Scarlet and Violet update. Obviously, by the time this goes out, thousands, if not millions of players, I don't know if million is the right one, will be playing the new Scarlet and Violet. Maybe not. Maybe no one's going to be playing it because we'll be playing Mario Kart World. But
that's true.
You can download the update tonight. Some people are getting their Switch 2 in probably 4 hours here. Some are waiting till tomorrow. Me, I don't think mine gets delivered until like Tuesday, but that's fine because I'm out of town until Tuesday, so that's fine. UPS can take their sweet time. But this morning, Mr. Joe Sarumi posted like an 8-minute YouTube video and had his thoughts on I guess he was invited to TPCI in, I think there are offices in London. And then he played for a little bit. He made it seem like other people played as well. I don't know. But I think he said he also played for like 75 minutes or something like that. Anyways, here's all the bullet points so you don't have to watch the 8-minute video. I got them right here. 1, the game is at...
Don't give him the traffic.
That's why people watch the video, for what he has to say, not for to watch the game.
Yeah, correct. Well, I watched the video and it didn't look like 4K. It didn't visually look any better.
Really? It did to me.
Did it?
Were you watching it in 4K?
No, I was watching on my Apple TV, so maybe not.
Maybe not, because it looked better to me.
Yeah.
I was quite surprised when I turned on the video.
Did you toggle the 4K button?
No.
Oh.
I didn't have it on either, and I think it looked really good.
Maybe I'm on so many drugs because I hurt my foot that I can't see anymore. I'm not sure.
You hurt your foot?
Oh, yeah. I went...
Where's that news?
I don't know what they prescribed. I went to urgent care today.
What?
Yeah. So when I was in Hiroshima, oh boy, here we go. Who cares about the Scarlet and Violet of it? Hiroshima. I was in Hiroshima, and after I saw all the bombing stuff that I think most people know Hiroshima for, which was really great. It was like not great that it happened, but like it was cool to like see all that stuff in person.
Right.
My friend Julie, who already saw all the stuff because I think she went to Hiroshima a year or two ago, she was like, there's a skate park here. I want to go to the skate park. I was like, okay, that's weird. So we got to the skate park, and then she walked inside and she rented a skateboard. It was like $15, and I was like, oh, you can rent a skateboard here? And then I was like, oh, I want to do that. I haven't skateboarded in I think 18 years. I'm 20 years old, so that means I skateboarded when I was 2. That's not true. So I also rented a skateboard, and then I ended up skating for like 2 hours, which is awesome.
Okay.
But then I like hurt my foot.
Okay.
All that one wheel practice paid off.
So was there not like, it wasn't like you like did a kickflip and landed wrong on your ankle or something? You just, after 2 hours of...
No, I did land wrong. I was doing the half pipe, which again, haven't skated.
Dang.
There's a lot of things wrong. You could easily say like, Steve, you're just bad at skateboarding. That's true. I just admitted I haven't skated in 18 years. Number one is I have bad feet to begin with, and I don't think anyone should be skating with walking shoes with custom insoles because you have terrible feet. I think skating shoes do matter.
Yeah, I think they do. Also, you haven't skated in 18 years and you're dropping in on half pipes. What are you doing?
I was being reckless. I was really into it. I took the hoodie off and everything. That's actually on the stream. I streamed it as well.
Steve shredded too hard.
I didn't. Okay, so that was the first part. I haven't skated in 18 years. I was not in skate shoes. And I didn't like the board they gave me. It was like really loose. I did go back and I tightened it. I would have preferred slightly bigger wheels. I would have preferred the board to be a little bit heavier. The trucks were so loose, and I did tighten them, but I didn't love that board, which also matters for people who skate. Like,
yeah, for sure.
That's why there's a million different kind of boards, because people have preferences. Maybe I should have. But anyways, I ended up skating for 2 hours, and when I was on the half pipe, I went to like push off because I didn't have enough momentum, and like when I pushed, I felt like a pop, like a tear. No. And nothing's broken. Obviously, you can't break a bone just like pushing off a skateboard, right?
No, that attitude.
It's not like
you didn't try hard enough.
It's not like I fell or I slammed it. So
sure.
Like my foot was swollen and was bruised, and then I had to do 4 days of Go Fest. But
so this was before
this
Go
was
Fest.
literally 2 days before
course.
Go Fest. And I think the only reason I got through is because when I had a root canal in December, they gave me a bunch of Tylenol 3.
Nice.
And I only used like 2 of the like 6 pills they gave me. So I took Tylenol 3 pretty much every day of Go Fest, and then I ran out. And then I was like hoping, I was like, it's been a week now, because I hurt my foot on like Tuesday, and it's Wednesday. And I was like, you know what? I have another 3 days of Go Fest, and I don't think my foot's getting better. So I went to urgent care today, and they gave me Prilostone?
Sounds familiar.
Prednisone.
Prednisone?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, like, isn't that a
It's a steroid.
A steroid? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So but I can't take it tonight because they said don't take it before bed because it's going to keep you up all day. So I got to wait till morning.
So the whole flight back from Japan, you were just sitting in the seat with like your injured self?
The whole, like, my last 7 days in Japan, I've had this.
Oh my goodness. So what's the lesson here?
Make sure you go to Japan with plenty of Tylenol and Advil is the lesson, which I did, and I ran out on the last day. That's the lesson.
Jeez. What was the prognosis of your foot? Like, what is it, a sprain or like a bad sprain of some kind? Or
they did say it was a sprain. Yeah.
Okay.
And they said
That's
sprains
good,
can last up to 30 days.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, no, they didn't. They were like, the way you described it, which is the way I described it to you guys, is doesn't sound like you broke a bone, so there's no point in doing X-rays. But yeah, I got 5 days worth of steroids now that I'm gonna take, and it was funny is because I was joking all week during GoFest because people would come in the stream and they'd be like, "How's your foot?" And I'd be like, I'm walking here.
I'm walking.
But I was saying that I might need a wheelchair in New Jersey, maybe for a little bit. And then when the doctor came out to get me, I stood up and I started limping. And they were like, "Should we get you a wheelchair?" I was like, Jesus, maybe.
Oh no.
Maybe yes.
Oh, no.
Maybe I do need a wheelchair. I'm very excited to take my steroids in the morning.
Yeah, there you go. It's a nice balanced breakfast for you.
Yeah.
Also, just skateboarding in Hiroshima. I was looking at skateboards on the way back in the flight home. I was like, I'm back in.
You should.
Speaking of steroids, Scarlet and Violet now runs at 60 frames a second.
There's a segue.
That's so good.
Mr. Joe Serby reported that it did drop to 55 frames at some parts. He said that this isn't a big deal, but the reason he noticed it was when he was replaying his footage and specifically looking for it. So I don't know if a casual person would notice that. I don't know if that's a big deal or not a big deal. You could maybe make the argument, and I've already seen the argument of they still can't get a solid 60 frames on the Switch 2. But I don't know. I didn't think that footage looked 4K, but also maybe my Apple TV didn't flip it over and it looked 720 to me, but
It looks 720 to you, really? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe your Apple TV is doing something. It definitely looked 4K to me, but I don't know.
I'm not too I believe you. I'm not. I'm not saying.
I'm not lying.
I'm not saying anyone's lying. I'm just saying
Yeah.
I know the game itself isn't at 4K. That
right.
Like
right.
I think the game is at what's like 2K. It's like
1440.
Yes.
Yeah. And then it scales up. Yeah.
So we're not saying the game's at 4K. What we are saying is the game can now hit 60 frames a second. I did chuckle during Joe's video because he said that Scarlet and Violet should be running at 30 frames a second and it drops to 25 frames a second. And I was like, brother, that game drops to like 5 frames a second.
Yeah.
Like
I know. I was waiting for that comment too. When he said that, I was like, you're being real generous with 25.
Super generous at 25. If the game ran at a solid 30, I don't think there would be that many complaints.
No.
Have you been to a lake? Yeah, there you go. It's
even the worst parts of the game. The windmill, for example, Joe made a great point of like the windmill running properly.
Yes.
I don't know how that windmill, so simple. It's just like the Ocarina of Time had a windmill. I still don't know how for 2.5 years that windmill ran as poorly as it did. Like if we're talking about like, oh, the game drops down to like 20 to 25 frames a second. That windmill was like 3 frames a second.
I was gonna say it was 1 frame a second, I think.
Even if you're close up to it, like as you're in the city, it is still going at a slow rate. And when Joe posted that tweet yesterday, I replied saying, "This is the most exciting thing I've seen at midnight, is seeing that windmill be so buttery smooth. It's beautiful, but it should have been that way from the get-go."
Yeah,
Very true.
I don't know how that windmill just remove it at that point. Just don't even have a windmill in the
It's
city.
a memory hog.
Or just
Take
like,
it out.
I feel like no one would have said anything if they just had the windmill not spin. No one would have like questioned it.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Joe says the game supports HDR.
Mm-hmm. But there was a reason that he didn't have HDR on, though.
Yes.
He had to turn it off so it would continue to hit 60 FPS.
Oh, did he mention
with
that?
4K
I must have missed that.
or something like that. He mentioned that he turned the HDR off, so that it could do something else.
The iPhone has made me hate HDR.
Yes.
Have you ever been like on TikTok or Instagram where everything looks normal and then you get a TikTok in HDR and you're like in bed and it's so frustrating.
Yep.
It's the worst.
Like,
I hate it.
Like
And apps don't make it easy to close it. Like the setting is like deep and and they might not even have a setting to turn off HDR.
for
in that
TikTok,
app.
I figured out how to do it. If you're on
did?
iPhone, you and you're like about to like look at a bunch of TikToks and you're under the covers and you're like bed rotting like me. If you turn on the like low battery mode, it disables HDR.
Oh.
Nice.
There's your tip.
I just don't like it.
I don't like it at all.
Yeah. Just turn off your phone in general. Just anything you shoot, just turn it off, please. I don't want to deal with it.
But I don't know if I would like it. I don't play a lot on my TV. Don't ask me why I was watching YouTube on my TV. Oh, I remember why. Because I was like unpacking because I need to repack, so I had it up on the TV.
Okay.
Because I normally
only ever watch YouTube on my TV. That's the only place I watch YouTube is my TV.
Sometimes I watch it on my computer when I'm like taking notes and eating and stuff.
Yeah.
That makes sense though. I'm not. I understand the appeal of YouTube on the TV. Joe said the draw distance is greatly increased. I don't know if you guys noticed that in the video.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Totally.
He said at one point during the video he counted more than 30 Pokemon on screen. As we know, the game normally generates about 15 Pokemon. I think 16 if one is shiny. There was that like, the counting thing was always weird to me. Of like, I'm not going to count Pokemon. It's either shiny or it's not. I think people use that for like Minior because you can't see if Minior is shiny.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Makes sense.
And then he said load times were greatly sped up. I think the example was like from Paldea to Kitakami was about 20 seconds. And then he was saying it was like 3 seconds.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah. That was the biggest surprise, I think, were the load times to watch how fast it was switching. Like, when you go from Paldea to either Kitakami or Blueberry Academy, how it shows the plane in the bottom right corner. And then it shows the Dragonite pull up like next to the plane, and it's like flying alongside the plane.
Yeah.
Yes.
So usually, if you think about like when you're playing that on the Switch, it's like plane for a while, then Dragonite pulls up, then Dragonite's flying for a little bit, and then like eventually like the game goes into Kitakami or whatever. In this, it was like the Dragonite had barely had time to like pull up on the plane before it switched. It was like, that was my key to like watch for. I was like, okay, how long is Dragonite going to be in the clip before? And it barely pulled up to the plane and it had already switched over to the new area. That might have been the most impressive part of the whole thing to me.
Honestly, that's so nice to see, because when you have these events coming out in the game where you have different outbreaks and between all the regions, you're going back and forth a lot, between all three. So drastically speeding that up is going to save a lot of time when you're hunting or going between like the academy or back to Paldea or Kitakami. So that's great.
Yeah, there were some things that were not mentioned that I still have questions on. The number one thing, I know listeners of this podcast know what I'm going to say. Did they add the people back? I feel like
Right.
Joe, like if you could, like it is crazy to me that you're saying we're going from 15 to 30 plus, because I think in that first screenshot we counted like 22. And we're like, oh, that's 7 more than 15. That seems good. 30 seems like a lot. And so our town's going to feel more full, because I feel like if you can handle 30 Pokemon and you removed, I think most towns removed like 2 to 3 people. Are they putting people back? The other thing that wasn't mentioned that I am now blanking on. He said I think there was a mention of like the PC boxes were faster. Oh, I didn't see it again. Maybe I was on too much medication this morning. I didn't see him go in and out of like a sandwich, because that always bothered me.
Yeah, he didn't. Or I didn't see it. No sandwich.
Because when I'm shiny hunting in that game and I'm like shiny hunting on Twitch, sometimes a new person will be like, why aren't you just going into the sandwich and going back out? Because I don't do that. I normally just like...
You mean into the picnic?
Picnic, yes.
Okay. Okay. Not all the way into making a sandwich.
Not all the way into
just
making
into
a sandwich, but yeah.
Where you go to the picnic to reset the spawns like around you.
Thank you. So I normally just walk away and walk back. I also just find that like relaxing, and like my hands are doing something, and I like that. Like spinning in a circle if you're hatching eggs. I prefer that too. And I understand that like going into a picnic and then leaving is like technically faster, right? Because depending on how far you have to go away to make the things despawn.
Yeah.
My problem with it was just so laggy that it was frustrating. Like it just made me angry looking at it. Of like, no, Miraidon does not need to come out every time. Why can't it just remember this? Like, I have less Pokemon and it still feels like clunky and chunky to like go in and out. And so for me, it was just like, I'm just gonna walk away. I'm gonna walk back. They're gonna spawn in, and that it's gonna calm me. It's very calming. I know it's longer, but I don't want to look at that animation because that animation frustrates me. I'm gonna assume that it's better, right? Like based on everything I just read, HDR, 60 frames, draw distance increased, 30 Pokemon on screen, load time sped up. I'm going to assume that that's better, but I would have liked to see that in his video.
In the video. Yeah, he didn't do that. He did raid. He said he was raiding with friends in the video, which I was like, maybe that's what made it seem like he was like not the only one, because he said he was raiding with other people in the video, but he didn't say whether those other people were on Switch or Switch 2 or where they were. But in the raid, everything was moving at 60 frames per second as well.
That's why I was a little bit more interested in, because I want to see real time when you do an online raid, like when like people not even on like, you know, the same network or just virtually, like what that experience is like, just getting 3 random people to go into a terror raid and see how that performs. I think that's going to be a true test also to see how the frame rate handles that. But I think overall, from what I've seen, definitely smoother animations, the more spawns. I think we've seen that in his video as well. But yeah, no, I think seeing how those raids actually perform, to me, is my big, you know, peak of my interest to see if that's been resolved and fixed.
Yeah.
You know, the I have said forever that I think this game would be a top 3 for a lot of people if it didn't run like booty. And it looks like a lot of that has been addressed. The other, you know, comment I've seen for like the last 2.5 years was the open world is empty and there's like nothing to do. And, you know, people compare open, like, I don't disagree with that because, you know, I thought Final Fantasy 15's open world was also empty and nothing to do. And I think Breath of the Wild has a lot to do in its open world, where if you see something in Breath of the Wild and you go there, there is something. And I think that does make for a good experience. I wonder if people make the claim, and again, I don't disagree with this claim, if people say the open world is empty, I wonder if more Pokemon being in fixes that for those people.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the points that was made in Joe's video today that I really agreed with was because of that, and because the distance is further, you can see Pokemon reacting to the environment rather than just reacting to you. So because you can see further, one example that Joe made was there was like a Poochyena just kind of napping in the grass. And because the draw distance was, because it was more distance, that Poochyena didn't run up to Joe. He could just see it interacting with nature in some way. And it kind of made things feel a little bit more lively because you can see Pokemon actually interacting with other things and not just running up to you because you have to get so close before you see them. And I think that will, I don't know that it would do the same thing as what you're saying for like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, because to your point, with everything you see in those games, there is something to do once reaching that point. And, you know, they're adding more Pokemon, but they're not adding anything else to it, right? Like, so it's like on par, it's like on the way to that. And maybe that would be enough for people to say, okay, it doesn't feel as empty now. But I don't think it will like go as far as to hit what you're saying with something like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom.
But unless like you are actively shiny hunting for Pokemon, or you want to complete a Pokédex, or, you know, capture different sizes of Pokemon, how is this going to attract just an average person to play the game again? Like, if you already played the game and you already did what you can, is this enough to bring you back? Like, would you do a whole new playthrough if you see, you know, as much as double Pokemon in the field, but don't have as new interactions with characters or no additional side quests, and everything is just smoother? Like, that's, I think, because there are some folks who just play the game as is and just put it down after they hit credits. No one continues after that. So this is good for those who like the longevity of the game and want to go back and collect, capture, get different sizes, get different natures, shiny, like all that great stuff. But for the average person, I don't think it's enough. I think it's nice to see it, but yeah, I don't know how that's going to bring them back.
I agree with you, Bob. I would put like an asterisk there, and that asterisk would be, I wonder, because you know how every Pokemon game is like hated when it comes out, and then like 10 years later it's like loved.
Yeah.
I wonder how that will be for Scarlet and Violet. Like, will people remember all of these issues? Like, I remember all the issues of Diamond and Pearl. I remember how slow that game is, like performance-wise and pacing-wise, and all the other issues that game came with. We got to relive that in BDSP. It was great. But now that this like update is here, I wonder in like 10 years, are people going to specifically bring up like, man, that game ran terrible, or man, that game looked ugly? Because I think one thing that stands out to me is I do think having 30 Pokemon on screen is crazy. Like, I think that is in itself a huge update compared to 15. And I would even suggest to some listeners, go back to like Scarlet and Violet and go to like the wild area, or go to the Crown Tundra. You don't Sword and Shield. Yeah. You don't even see 10 Pokemon on screen.
That's a good point.
Right.
Yeah.
And that wasn't really a complaint in Sword and Shield of like, man, I wish there was more Pokemon. It was just like, oh man, Pokemon are walking around and some are in the grass, and I'm sure people complained. It's not like a myth.
It feels like, and I believe that it is a complaint. It's not one that I've heard, but I'm also not as online in the Pokemon world as you are, Steve,
Yeah.
obviously. Like
chronically online, chronically in foot pain as well.
But it is funny to me that there were complaints about the fact that there were only 15 spawns when that had never been a thing before.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like, what do you complain? You have 15 and not, I guess, and my complaint with those spawns throughout the last couple of years wasn't so much related to there aren't enough of them as much as like everything felt smaller to me. So it felt harder to see Pokemon. I don't think my vision is going. Maybe it is.
Mine is.
But I don't think it is. But it just felt like everything was harder to see when going through. And so does 30 spawns or more fix that? I don't know. Maybe other things fix that, right? Maybe there are other things about that. Maybe that situation had to do with like the draw distance and the spawn rate and things like that, and so maybe that will be fixed and it will look a little better when, in particular like shiny hunting. But I never had an issue with like, oh, there's only 15 spawns.
Yeah.
Because like before that there were not that. I guess how many were in Legends Arceus at one time? Not 15.
I don't feel
Definitely
like 15.
not 15.
Like
no.
7 or 8 maybe in like an outbreak.
At least. Well,
At a
at
time.
most, I should say. Yeah. At a
Yeah.
time.
Maybe at most.
They were so clustered together.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just never was like an issue that the spawns were so. I mean, hey, give me 30 spawns. That's great. I have heard there's a person or two in Slack who are in the UK, they're in Europe. I'm not going to say.
Okay.
I don't want to offend with like where they are versus what like. But they were saying that it's almost intimidating with how many spawns there are now, because they have the game, right? They're playing it, and it was almost intimidating. So,
it sounds awesome.
Seems cool to me. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But it wasn't like I welcome it, but it wasn't like something I was waiting for. I wasn't like, oh, I'm waiting for these 30 spawns because 15's not enough. But it is a welcome addition.
Yeah.
I just want to see when I battle people in the schoolyard, more people on the sidelines. Going back to Steve's comment on putting people back in the game, because I feel that was like, especially when you came from a game like Sword and Shield, where you're battling in stadiums.
Yeah.
Coming to a game like this where like even in a courtyard or something like that, it didn't have that right kick, and maybe because there wasn't as many people. And I think hopefully with this enhancement, I would love to see more people gather around battles, and maybe that'll just, again, I think like to your point, Bobby, also the overall just experience kind of bringing you into that world. Yeah, having more spawns is great, but if I feel like the world is more alive, there's more people walking around in towns, the battles feel more exciting, I can see the elements of nature just being very just natural. I think that's a big improvement over just an increased spawn. Like you actually feel like you're in this world as it's meant to be, and you want to maybe enjoy your stroll in Paldea again just because of that.
Yeah. Yep. I think draw distance helps with that too. If the goal is to like make you feel like you're in the world and things aren't just a whole building's just not popping in like 3 seconds before you're about to touch it. I think that helps. Obviously, the next episode, I think the three of us will have played the updated version of Scarlet and Violet. So we'll circle back to this conversation. I know commenters on YouTube or Slack or Discord probably will answer those questions, but I'll be at GoFest. I don't know what you guys will be doing, but I won't be able to play until I get back, but that's fine.
Yeah. I won't be able to play because I'll be playing Tears of the Kingdom. So, sorry, Pokemon.
I'll be doing shameless plug game show marathon over the weekend.
There you go.
So I won't be. I had to get that in somewhere. I won't be playing the game until next Monday, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take a quick break, and then there's one more thing happening in Scarlet and Violet that we'll bring up, and then TCG Sleep and some Go stuff. We will be right back. And we are back from our break. There's 2 events happening in Scarlet and Violet right now. When this podcast goes up on the 9th, they will be around for a week. The first one is Porygon 2 are in Outbreaks across Paldea, Kitakami, and the Blueberry Academy. They have an increased chance to be shiny, and then they also just shadow dropped Mighty Porygon 2 in raids from June 5th to June 15th. The joke, I guess, was that they randomly did Porygon in Outbreaks a couple days ago while we're recording this, and then that didn't make a lot of sense because Porygon was already in mass outbreaks for Pokemon Day.
Mm-hmm.
And then the joke was Porygon into Porygon 2 the week of the Switch going into the Switch 2. So that's like a funny joke that they did.
That's comedians over there at the Pokemon Company, huh?
Which like makes me think, was this the plan all along? Or did somebody think of it and say, like, let's do this?
Yeah.
Because why? Because repeating Porygon twice is kind of not fun.
Right.
And we already knew the 7-star raid schedule, which was the pseudo legendaries, the 600 club.
Mm-hmm.
And so to like, I'm not complaining. I love 7-star raids, but to like squeeze Porygon in between Porygon 2 is like welcomed. But the repeat Porygon makes me think like maybe this was kind of like a last minute celebration kind of thing.
All right. If this is why I should be working for the Pokemon Company. Or, yeah, for the Pokemon Company. This is what I would have done instead of Porygon 2. With the release of the Switch 2, I would have had Mewtwo raids. Because not only do you have the Switch 2 Mewtwo, you also are getting a bunch of people back into playing Scarlet and Violet on the Switch 2. And so they're all getting to see the better like gameplay, graphics, smoother everything, versus just having to hear about it and debating whether they want to jump back in.
No,
it would have been like
$500 for. I mean, okay.
No, but I'm just.
Hold on, I am actually.
I think all of us would, but like, I'm just saying, like, rather than have people debate on whether they want to play it, Mewtwo brings everyone back, and now you're bringing a bunch of people back on Switch 2 and Mewtwo Switch 2. I think that would have been the better way to go.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's running to dust off their Switch to be like, I need Porygon.
Right, exactly. But it is cute that they're doing it that way, and I think it's cute that they went from Porygon is spawning into they're now Porygon 2. I think that's real cute. I do think this may have been a last minute decision because I think if they had planned this, they wouldn't have made Porygon the Pokemon Day.
Yeah, there was like 9 Pokemon. One of them did not have to be Porygon.
Right, and it was based on red, blue, green, and Porygon was the red choice, right? Yeah. There's so many other Pokemon they could have chosen.
Yeah,
for
totally.
The red choice.
And then when Pokemon ZA comes out, Porygon Z is now it's all coming together.
That's the plan.
The Nintendo Switch, the Nintendo Switch 2, the Nintendo Switch Z. I understand.
What if there's a Nintendo Switch that comes out in October that is a Nintendo Switch 2, but it's themed on Pokemon ZA, so it looks like Nintendo Switch Z because it kind of looks like a 2?
We need to move on.
Place your bets after this podcast, folks.
Are we all on medication right now? Or is it just Steve on pain medication?
Living off just Advil and Tylenol until tomorrow morning. Then it's steroid time. Extradimensional Crisis. It is out. There are 3 events here. I'll just run through them real quick before we talk about the set. Ultra Beast drop event from June 3rd to June 13th. Take on a special solo battle to obtain new promo cards, including Ultra Necrozma EX. Wonder Pick event June 11th through June 21st. Obtain new promo cards such as Poiple and Stuffle, and obtain shop tickets by completing missions. Ultra Beast Mass Outbreak event, cards from June 22nd to June 28th. Cards relating to Ultra Beast will appear in rare and bonus picks. I don't remember how many cards this set had. It didn't seem like a lot.
It's a small set.
It's like Mythical Island.
Yeah.
I think it was like somewhere between 67 and 69 regular set, and then another 20-ish, 30-ish secret rares.
I'm showing 103 for this one.
Yeah.
So yeah,
After the secret rares.
Yeah.
Yeah. More shinies.
I canceled my subscription to Pocket.
This is blasphemy, Steve. I don't know.
I didn't think that I was getting $120 a year of enjoyment.
You saw the Zeraora, the amazing Zeraora, and when said that artwork is too amazing for me. I gotta quit.
That's too much PNG for me to handle. Look, I like the game. Just because I cancel my subscription doesn't mean I'm not playing. I like the game. I'm not saying that. I don't care about collecting every card, which is the majority of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I like the shorter battles, and I just genuinely like TCG battles.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get like that scratches that itch of me not needing to do a 60 card deck and sit there for 45 minutes and play. And I like that. I've just accepted that like missing a promo card means nothing to me. Like who cares? Like it is more of a relief not to do those solo missions than the satisfaction of like, oh, I got all 5. And I still think part of that is it almost reminds me of the going into the picnic and being like, this takes too long and I hate it. Opening individual 1-card promo packs is infuriating.
It's
like I
garbage.
did the Vulpix event or the Ninetales event, and I didn't open a single pack, and it ended, and I ended up having like 12 packs after the event was already gone. So I was like, I don't know if I got all 5 promo cards. I don't care. I got 12 booster packs. Opening those 12 booster packs, like I would rather mow the grass than to do one by one by one. It's just not fun. If there was like a button that said open all 12, I'd give him my $10 back.
Oh, absolutely. But you make a good point. It's actually pretty amusing to think that if you're a premium user for this game, you're doing more work. You're spending a lot more time if you're giving the company money, which you think, wait a minute, hold on a second. Should I have less time to worry about?
But I think Japan broke that for me too. I was in Japan for 5 days before I opened the app. And so I missed a lot of packs, which isn't like the end of the world. And then when I went to like, I was like, oh, I'll just open like the 4. I know I have 4 boosters. I know at Extradimensional Crisis. I had to look at the word to say it. I know it's here, and I'm on the subway train. And I go to open the app, and it's like 300 megabyte download. And I was like, well, I guess I'm not opening these 4 boosters right now because I'm not doing an update on the train. But I did. I through the 12 days, I think I opened 12 packs, which is less than what I should be opening, and I still enjoyed opening the new cards.
Yeah, I enjoyed opening them as well. Disclosure for all of us. I mean, I know Pokemon Company gave me $50 worth of Pokegold to open packs. Bob, you as well, Steve.
Same here.
They did for me, but I haven't. That was after I got back. I just got it, so I haven't.
Okay. Yeah, so I opened a bunch of packs with the gold that they gave. I haven't spent any additional money on this set yet, but it's been fun so far. I think, I know we just talked about this a couple weeks ago in like how I was saying it's exciting for new sets that constantly come out. And I do think that that's true.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
But
Oh boy.
after a couple days of opening a bunch of packs, it does just go back into the rhythm of, okay, I'll just open my 2 today, 3 today. And, there is the drop event right now. And I saw that it happened, was it last night, June 3rd at 11 p.m.? So yeah, it was last night. And I had that moment of like, oh, drop event. Oh, drop event. It was a little bit of like
I hate it.
happy and sad, because it's like, I want to get the promos, but do I really care about the promos? But then if I don't get the promos, I'm going to be mad I didn't get the promos.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of back and forth with that. So
I totally for the record, I totally get why people like the drop events. It's new content. A lot. I'm sure there's a ton of players that don't like competitive, don't want to play a real player. I get it. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather play the real player. I don't want the CPU doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, so for example, with the Ninetales event, that one was fine, but I did enjoy when I found the deck that worked really well against it, right? To find that what that was. And in my case, I was a Solgaleo deck, which I didn't have 2 of, so I needed to go get another one and had to figure that out. And then it was like, beating that over and over. But at the same time, you have to win the battle 20 times to complete the task if you want to complete the task, or if you're trying to get the promo card, right? It's like, I think I went through like 18 or 19 battles before I got the Ninetales promo card. So, and, I could auto battle, but if I'm going to play the game, or if I'm going to use my phone, I'm going to use my phone. I don't want to auto battle because now my phone's just sitting there. I probably don't think the computer's doing the right moves, so I don't like doing the auto battle. But then you're repetitively playing. I feel like I'm talking myself out of liking this game right now, but like, it's just a lot of.
But I think this was the worry 6 months ago.
It was. I'm pretty sure we all talked about this 6 months ago in saying these events are cool. I don't know if I want to have exactly the same events over and over and over again, but how many different things can you do with a card game? I know all the Marvel Snap people are going to come to the comments right now to tell me how much better that game is, but
I would like, probably believe them. Yes. Yeah,
maybe. I have no idea, but there is a lot of repetitiveness to this game, and again, it's like it's in waves for me. So it's like, oh, new sets come out, cool. I get kind of hyped up on that. I'm going to open a bunch of packs, and maybe it's different for people if they're not opening 50 or 60 packs right when the set comes out, right? Like it's different in that way. So it's like I get all my enjoyment out of it a couple days at a time, right? And then it's like, okay, cool. Now just for the rest of the month, just kind of coast, open a few packs, do a few battles here and there, and then wait for that next set. And I think that is why I enjoy the sets coming out monthly and not having like 2 or 3 month gaps, because it does give me like a couple days of that enjoyment every month rather than like, 3 months down the line before I'm like opening a bunch of packs again.
Bob, where are you at?
I guess, so, you both make really good points, and now I'm
not trying to talk anyone out of playing TCG Pocket. I'm just saying where I'm at with it.
I did. Now I did pick it from my island, so I'm stuck with it. No, I play competitive Pocket, so like I'm on the ladder and I'm going on the ladder and I'm building these decks. Do I like having a new set come out every single month and I have to change the meta around? Not necessarily, but Bobby makes a good point. Like, if you like just that quick hit of dopamine and you're like ripping the packs for a couple of days and you're getting some cards and that's all you want to do a couple of times a month, by all means, go crazy. And the good thing about that is you don't have to wait for a long time to then start trading some of those previous packs with your friends. So once a new pack drops into the app, most of the cards are open for trading, and then you can handle that. But for someone like me who like I do enjoy battling, I do like the chess match idea of the games, and they're fast, like Steve said. But yeah, even these drop rewards, I'm on autopilot because I'm not gonna use my brain power against the CPU. I'm like, just do it. I know this deck's decent. I'll probably win 8 out of 10 times. You know, I'll have a bad draw, or I don't get my research card or my Pokeball, and GG's. So yeah, I'm at that point where the last drop event, the Ninetales event, I totally forgot about it. Totally forgot about it until it was like 2 hours left, and I'm about to go to bed. And what do? I pull out my phone. I go, I have 2 hours left. Let me get some games in. I got the Ninetales card. It's a trash card competitively, but it's a beautiful artwork. So I like having it in my collection. Same thing with Ultra Necrozma EX. Not a good card, people. I don't like this card at all. It's cool looking, but it's just dog water in the nicest way possible. I have no faith for it. But yeah, I go back to when Steve was starting this segment, is like, I am paying more money to do more work. That's what it feels like right now. I would love, and this is just me, I would love, like, with Masters, you know, yes, you have the traditional battle mechanics of Masters, but you have all, like, these small stories. You have something that kind of, like, breaks up the monotony of that game. Pocket, would I like to see some type of maybe, like, you know, campaign mode, something a little different? Maybe. It'd be nice. I don't expect it anytime soon. So I'm here just to see it as a card collecting battling game. And yes, there's only so much you can do with a card collecting battling game. I played Snap a few times. It's fun. So I welcome these Snap enjoyers to the comment section. But yeah, I think the 1 year will be in October, right?
Yeah,
end of October.
So we're not even close to that yet. So I kind of want to see where we are 1 year. Like, you know, I'm still going to give the game my money because that's who I am. I hope for the best. Hope we get some good stuff maybe around Worlds time for the game. But yeah, I think the game needs to start doing some new things to keep players paying into it, and giving casual folks and competitive folks likewise different things to do from time to time.
Feel that
They did make some change, or I don't think they're live yet, but they're adding the streak back to.
Yes.
Or not adding it back. They're extending the streak.
Correct.
That you get in ranked to both Ultra Ball and Master Ball. And then once you make it to Master Ball, you won't fall out of Master Ball.
And that's good. Like, I think that's been one of the complaints from the competitive side is,
well, you have all these Master Ball people getting a Master Ball and then just not playing because they're scared to get out. And then all of a sudden you just don't have people playing a Master Ball because everyone just stopped playing.
Exactly. And even the rewards, like the Hourglass rewards from Ultra to Master, really weren't, you know, from 80 to like 100, right? It was 80 to 100.
90, I think was the max you got.
The max. I have to go back.
Ultra Ball was 75.
75.
That's
to 90.
right. Yeah. But still, it's like people just stopped in Ultra Ball because they didn't want to go through the non-streak meta just to get to Masters just for a few extra Hourglasses.
Yeah, for 15 more, which is one pack. And a different looking PNG in the game. So I mean, coming from a game like with Unite, you know, we have streak bonuses up until Master. You can't dip below Ultra. You can't dip below Master. But once you have Master, the streak ends, and you're just doing like ELO points from there on out. I would assume it's the same here.
Yeah, and I think it's a good change. Like, you'll still have the new season drop, like wherever you are, you drop down. But I think now that if you go into Ultra, you can't drop during the season. If you go to Master, you can't drop during the season. So I'm excited to see those changes roll out for competitive. And I will say this set, from a competitive standpoint, a lot of fun. Definitely seeing a lot of new decks come out in the tournament scene. I know, like, Savali seeing a lot of gameplay in the new set. Buzzwole. It's the year of Buzzwole, folks. I don't know. I hate to say it, but Buzzwole's everywhere. The big buzzy boy. Really fun deck, really great deck, and Ultra Beasts are fun set. I know, Bobby, you and I are big Sun and Moon people, so we love this stuff. But it's been a fun set, I think, for a lot of people. With especially the last set too. Definitely was great for the competitive scene. So as long as I think Pocket continues bringing new cards into the mix, new mechanics and things like that, and the beautiful artwork. It'll last long. It just needs it's there. It just needs a little bit more to keep people on the premium side and coming back more than just a few times a month to do things.
What if they added like a 60 card deck mode, but instead of like 3 prizes, you took 6 prizes?
Do you want to know my conspiracy here? If you open up the app, okay? If you open up the app and you go to a deck in Pocket, there's more than 20 slots that you can put cards in. The game will say, hey, by the way, you can't have more than 20 cards. And then you had to take it. There's more than 20. Why would you put more than 20 slots, Pokemon Company, in the app? If you don't plan something, I'm just saying. I'm just.
What I really would want is I would really want TCG Live to look and play like Pocket. But without the like, because TCG Live is just a battle simulator.
Sure.
Yep.
And I think that's all I actually want. Is a better battle simulator that isn't TCG Live.
But I do like the rewards ladder in TCG Live. So and there's battle passes as well. That as you progress, even in like ranked matches with folks, you're getting more packs to open, more rewards, more currency to play in game. That would be nice to see have a battle pass, I think, in Pocket. That might come in the future as another way for the company to make money because it needs more money, apparently. I can see a battle pass.
Still, as of this podcast, it is still dominating
Yeah.
every other gacha game. It is insane.
But capitalism.
But yeah.
That's true. Also, I just don't think I like gacha games. Like DNA, bless their heart, they give me so many gems a month for Masters. I don't remember the last time I pulled in Masters. Like, I'll open the app and I'll collect some gems, and I'll be like, oh man, I should pull next time I'm streaming, and then I'll forget. And it's like, so it's not even, well, you probably only like Pocket because the Pokemon Company gave you gold. It's not that. I've been getting gems and Masters for free for 3 years, and I barely play that game. It's not, and I don't think Masters is bad. I think Masters is great. I think it's a really cool game. I think it fits a specific niche of people. I think if you care about the actual characters of Pokemon, it fills that void of giving you like more context and more backstory. I think it's a really cool game. I just don't think I like gacha games. I don't think I get that satisfaction of like, oh man, I pulled the gold rare Nihilego. But I think that's the gold rare in the set, right? I think
It is, yeah,
it
it is.
And that's fine. But I do like the battling. I do like the battling. So
Agreed.
all right. Let's take another break. And speaking of a game that I'm very okay with giving $10 a month to, we will be back with Pokemon Sleep. This podcast is brought to you by Hims. What can happen in 3 to 6 months? You could pick up a new hobby and get maybe not very good at it yet. You could maybe tackle half of your New Year's resolutions, or you could spend 3 to 6 months trying to organize your shiny Pokemon in home, which you probably haven't done yet. You should start doing that. Or you can start seeing thicker, fuller hair regrow through Hims. Not bad for 3 to 6 months. Hims will provide you with a convenient access to a range of hair loss treatments that work, all from the comfort of your couch. Choose from personalized chewable, oral, spray, or serum treatments to find out what works best for you. The process is simple and 100% online, so there's no uncomfortable doctor visits. No insurance is needed, and one low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. And at the end of the day, it's easy, and we all like easy. You can start your free online visit today at hims.com/PKMNcast. That is HIMS.com/PKMNcast for your personalized hair loss treatment options. HIMS.com/PKMNcast. And we are back from our break. Finally, Pokemon Sleep lovers are eating good. Scopely listened. And by Scopely, I mean Ilka. There's going to be an update. So, actually, the update is going to be tonight as we record this. So, I cannot remind you to make sure to feed Snorlax before 11 p.m. So that's on you.
Oh, dang.
So there's an update coming. There's going to be a new, I think they're calling it Ingredient Week. So by the time this podcast goes up, there will be Ingredient Week where your meals will have like 1.5 times the effectiveness, and then your Pokemon will get more ingredients if they're ingredient specialists. So that's just like a fun week, I guess, if you want to power up a specific meal / get to a higher level. There are some updates here. These are the important ones. So 3-star sleep styles that can be seen during sleep research in all areas are more likely to appear. The 3-star is actually more rare than the 4-star. The 4-star is when a Pokemon appears on Snorlax's stomach, but 3-star is technically more rare. In addition, 3-star sleep styles can be discovered on Greengrass. We will add multiple 3-star sleep styles to that can be seen during sleep research on Greengrass. Usually you couldn't get a lot of 3-star sleep styles because they wanted you to go elsewhere for that. So they're adding more to Greengrass. This is a huge update. This is for my hardcore sleep players. Maybe this brings Bobby back. We'll see after all of these changes.
Sure.
So when you caught a Pokemon in sleep, so when you caught I'll use Doduo for an example. When Doduo was much easier to catch than Dodrio, right? Dodrio had more pips; it was harder to catch. But also, when you evolved a Pokemon, when you evolved Doduo to Dodrio, two things happened. One, the inventory would be bigger when you evolved it, and two, you would get a free main skill level up. So instead of your Dodrio after you evolved it would be main skill level 2. I don't even know what Dodrio's main skill is. I think it's bad. But when you caught a fresh Dodrio, it would have not as big of inventory. It would be harder to catch, and its main skill would start at level 1 instead of being 2 when you evolved it. So they're changing it now where the carry limit increased Pokemon received when you evolve will now apply to evolved Pokemon you befriend. After this update, this increase will automatically appear for all Pokemon in your box. The example they use is when you evolve a Rattata to Raticate, the carry limit would go from 16 to 21. And now your Raticates will all be 21 regardless of whether you caught it at Raticate or not. And then they are making Butterfree, Dodrio, and Altaria slightly better by making them help a little bit faster. So that's good because there is not a Bug Island yet, and there's not a Dragon Island yet. And 2 of those Pokemon would fit into that for a future island. I don't know if any of these Pokemon will see a lot of use. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, I guess we'll see. But they're buffed, so that's good. They are this was okay. So remember how I said I will give TCG Pocket my $10 back if I could just mass open individual booster packs with one singular card in them. This drove me crazy, and they're fixing it. When you try to make a dish but you don't have enough ingredients, the recipe details will be displayed, and you will see how many of the ingredients you are holding. And that drove me crazy because if I'm making dream butter curry, which is potato, I don't know what it is. It's potato, honey, milk, and I think cacao. It would be like you're missing potato, but it wouldn't tell me how many potato I'm missing. And so I would have to go back out and then go into my inventory and then delete and then go back and then click on a Pokemon, grab the potatoes, go back in. So they're fixing that, and they're making adjustments to the number of sleep styles Snorlax's rating. The sleep style number displayed will exclude sleep styles that will only appear when an incense is used. They fix some small bugs. They fix some text. These are all the bugs they are fixing / adding. I think it's great. Yeah, I think it's awesome. Bob, are you still playing Sleep?
I still am. I'm still a Sleep player. I'm still on premium.
Sleepaholic.
I'm a sleepaholic. I love me a good sleep.
Me too. It's one of my favorite things to do.
I still play the game. I will say the last couple of weeks, probably months even, I hate to say it, but I haven't really been changing my team a lot. I just been using the same team across multiple islands, and I always save one slot for a berry specialist for that Snorlax. Because I have a really great Drifblim who is popping off energy all the time. I have a great Charizard for ingredients. I have a great Dedenne for extra tasty. I have a great Flareon for cooking pot. It just works for me. And I would love to use different Pokemon when possible. But I think the ingredient ones is great. And to your point, Steve, I will give more money to Pokemon Sleep if they have something that tells me, because I have really bad memory in this game. Did I even feed this Pokemon today? Did I miss a meal? I wanted to see a little indicator somewhere saying, yep, you missed a meal. Because I just forget what I'm doing with this game sometimes.
Just like, did I miss lunch or not?
Yeah, and I don't know. Does the game, I don't think the game has like a really detailed activity log. I'm just looking at it.
I mean, if you give it lunch, it'll say like next meal at 6 p.m.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
But if it's like 7 p.m. and you're like, oh, did I miss lunch or not? Yeah, there's no indication.
Yeah.
There's a tip. Here's a tip for people that want to be able to track that. Most weeks, maybe all weeks, it will tell you, because one of the goals of the week, one of the missions, is to cook a certain amount of times. Right? Cook 17 times to get this prize. So you can see how many times you've cooked, and if you think 3 times a day and just multiply that,
that's a good point.
You can see that and be like, okay. I mean, it won't tell you which meal you missed, but you can see like, okay, I missed a meal because I only it's Wednesday and I got all my meals done, or I thought I did, but I only have 8. I only have 8 out of that 17 when I should have 9 out of that 17 by the end of the day Wednesday.
That's a good point. And also,
you can check that way. Also,
going back to the 3-star thing, you don't get anything if you complete all the photos of a Pokemon. Like if I do all 1, 2, 3, and 4 stars, you get nothing for that, and that's kind of disappointing. It's like, and obviously we haven't seen a 5-star yet. I don't know. That's the Mewtwo right there, Bobby. Mewtwo's 5-star. calling it now. But yeah, you don't get nothing for like even completing the page of photos for a Pokemon, which I think is a missed opportunity. Like even just give me a dream cluster or something. I don't know. It's it would be nice, but no, these are good updates. I think it's nice to see the game still looking at some quality of life enhancements and keeping that going. So happy to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have been the only one that got frustrated that you would be like, oh, I don't have enough potatoes, but I don't know exactly how many I'd have or don't have without.
All the time. I was the same way with, so I would do, so before I stopped playing, one of the things that was like kind of letting me know that I really did not want to play anymore was I would almost always make sure that I was doing salads every week. So like I would use like a ticket. Like if I didn't get salads at the beginning of the week, I would use a ticket to re-roll for salads.
Unhinged, Bobby.
And luckily, I never had to re-roll like 7 or 8 times to get salads, but I would almost always re-roll for salads and then just make the ninja salad for every meal for the whole week, because I had Quaquaval. I had 2 Quaquaval at one point for leaks, and all the time it would be like, not all the time, but when there would be a time when like I wouldn't have enough ingredients, I just hated it because it was like, well, how many more leek do I need? Because it's always like the leek, I would need more leek or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And you have to go to the cooking pot, see then you can see what your ingredients are or whatever, and where so quality of life update, that's great. It's not bringing me back to the game. None of this is bringing me back to the game. I think I said this a few weeks ago, I think, but the thing with the game that just got me was I was never happy to open it up except in the morning. Like I was happy waking up and checking my stuff in the morning, but if it was in the middle of the day or like in the evening, it was always like I was always rushing to get the thing done. I was always rushing to open the app because I was like, oh, lunch is about to end. I need to feed lunch. Or, breakfast is about to end. I need to feed breakfast. Or I'd forget. And then at the end of the night, I'd be ready to go to bed. And I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm going to, push the Pokeball Plus Plus or the Go Plus Plus and remember like, oh, I didn't feed Snorlax dinner. And so then I was like, I got to go in and do that real quick. And I was never like excited about it. I was never like, ooh, I get to open Pokemon Sleep. I was always like, oh, I have to open Pokemon Sleep. And, oh, I have to remember to push this button to, get the thing started for the night and then wake up in the morning and, And for a while, I was just like, this is just this is just how you play the game. Like, you're just never super happy with it. And you just play it anyway. And I had like a work event. It was like a 3-day event. And it's just, I was like, at the end of each day, I realized I didn't play the game at all. And then at the end of the night, when I was going to bed, I was like, I don't even want to push the Go Plus Plus thing to like start that. And by the end of that 3 days, I was like, oh, it's like, it's okay. Like my life my life might actually be a little bit better since I'm not like angry about opening this app 3 times or 4 times a day.
It'd be nice. Like, I know the only way to get spawns is like if you do a sleep research and you do like twice a day. But wouldn't it be nice, like Pokemon Quest, right? You make something, like you make a nice dish, and the scent attracts, like when you make breakfast, lunch, or dinner, it attracts some Pokemon maybe to like your campsite. That'd be kind of cool, because then maybe you'll be excited to say, maybe you won't get like the 8 or 10 spawns you get like at end of the week sleep with the sleep with the drowsy power. But maybe because when they introduced that the meal also feeds your team, that was a nice little update. But yeah, if even just cooking can attract maybe like 1 or 2 spawns throughout the day, it comes to your camp, and maybe you can check it and see, oh, maybe you get a shiny then, maybe you get a new Pokemon. That would be pretty cool. Will that bring you back, Bobby? Maybe if you have multiple spawns like that, possibly.
No.
Okay. Well, I'm done.
It's a good idea, but no, it wouldn't bring me back.
It is kind of clever. I like Sleep did not fall off for me in Japan, but like Pocket did a little bit. And that's where I felt like I do think it's funny that people complain about Scarlet and Violet, and I think a lot of the complaints are valid. Of like, oh, it took 2.5 years for this $90 game, $90 if you include the DLC, or maybe it's $100. Was the DLC 40?
35?
Anyways, 35. Yeah, about $90 to $100 for this almost 3-year-old game to now finally be somewhat fixed. And then I just think, I've spent over $200 on Pokemon Sleep, and it doesn't do nearly as much as Scarlet and Violet does. But no, I still like Sleep. I think I can understand the fall off. Like, there's nothing happening this week, and I think I missed like lunch on Monday or something. I did breakfast, I did dinner, but I was traveling and I missed lunch. But I didn't feel bad about it because I was like, oh, this is like an off week. This is like Scopely's repeating raids kind of week, and I don't like feel bad for not going out in Pokemon Go. So, but like I'm excited for next week because it is an event. It's an ingredient event, and I'm like, okay, I can maybe hit even a higher level on Greengrass, and I haven't been to Greengrass in over a month, or not Greengrass. I'm sorry, Power Plant. I haven't been to Power Plant in over a month because I've been trying to get up Snowdrop.
Snowdrop, yeah.
So. Yeah, I think it is similar to Pokemon Go, where and we haven't really had this in Pocket, and maybe that's part of the reason for Pocket is we haven't had repeat events in Pocket where I feel like, oh, I've done that, I can just take this week off, it's not new. But there's so much of that in Pokemon Go where it's like, oh, cool, they're bringing back Tornadus, don't need one, we'll never need one, I can just skip this entire week, that's great. Or even when they do a weekend that is like Clamperl is going to be boosted shiny. Awesome. I don't need that. Some people do, but that's a Saturday. I don't need to go out anymore because I have 7 shiny Clamperl. I don't need any more. I'm sure somebody wants more. that ain't me. I would rather play a different game at home. But if it's a Pokemon I don't have, that's nice. But I do like that we just don't have that in Pocket. We don't have like an off week yet in Pocket. Everything is like new promo card. Maybe the like Ultra Beasts are more appearing in Wonder Pick, I guess, is skippable.
Yeah, the Wonder Pick events, but those don't even. Yeah, it's different. Pocket's different, but like to your point with sleep, I stopped playing during an event. It wasn't even like an off week where I was like, oh, I don't need to do this. It was an event. It was the.
Was it Darkrai?
Chansey event? No, it was after Darkrai.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I think it was.
I think you're right. I think it was
event.
Chansey.
Yeah, I think it was Chansey, and it just, yeah, I was just playing it out of habit. And did realize that wasn't something that I actually enjoyed doing. So I still think that Sleep is a cool game. Like, I don't hate Sleep. I don't hate Pokemon Sleep.
The title
I also
of this
don't
episode is
sleep
gonna be
that much,
Bobby
and I actually
Hates
don't
Pokemon
like
Sleep.
sleeping that much.
Is this a parent thing? Is it because you have kids?
No, I've never been a big fan of sleep.
Okay.
I sleep very little in the night. But I just think that, it's, and part of it I think too is that I have a hard time playing a lot of mobile games. Like I can't. 3 mobile games is like too many for me. Mm-hmm. I know with some people that's like, what? That's nothing. To me, 3 of them is too many to juggle. Like, and so, had to let one go. Sorry, Pokemon Sleep.
What if I told you that there's another future update coming called Expert Mode?
Yeah. I don't know. Let's hear about it.
This sounds awesome.
It's like Shark Tank now. Here's my proposal. Do you want to buy it on this?
The only thing I know about Shark Tank is there was like a guy who tried to sell a door lock, and then he had his friend try to kick down the door.
Yeah.
And then he couldn't kick down the door.
Yeah, that was a thing. Also, the guy who invented Ring tried to sell it on Shark Tank, and they all said no, and then he sold it to Amazon for like $1 billion.
Oh, yeah.
And then he was on Shark Tank as a guest one time. What?
Scrub Daddy was on Shark Tank at one point too, right?
Yep,
was it?
Yep, it was.
Nice.
We should get Scrub Daddy to sponsor the podcast.
Oh, that'd be so sweet. That's all. Sure. That's all thumbnail now.
A new challenging game mode will be added in an update around the end of July or early August. In this new mode, there will be ways for all kinds of helper Pokemon to contribute. It will be more difficult to raise Snorlax, but you'll get more rewards than ever before. Prepare for expert mode by befriending and raising many different kinds of Pokemon. The requirement for unlocking expert mode is by reaching Master 18 on Greengrass. Expert mode will only be limited to Greengrass for now, or maybe forever. It doesn't say. If you've already met this requirement, expert mode will unlock as soon as it's added to the game. I think I've made it to 19.
Oh, nice.
On Greengrass. I made it to 20 on Topalo, which is funny because Topalo is much harder than Greengrass.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Wow.
I don't know what I was doing. I don't go to Greengrass a lot.
Yeah, I think I made it to 18 on Greengrass. I wouldn't know because the game is not installed on my phone anymore. But that's how far I've fallen off with it. But I think I did hit 18 at one point on Greengrass.
Nice. I think 16 for me.
Did I say Topalo or did I say Lapis Lakeside? Not to be confused with Lapras Lakeside. That's a whole. That's not in the game.
Oh no. Well, Tapo is the one after Greengrass, so that's probably that one, right? The one that's after Greengrass.
Topalo is the beach. Cyan Beach, then Topalo.
Oh, sorry, Cyan Beach, and then
then Snowdrop, and then Lapis,
and then the
Power Plant.
Power Plant.
And Topalo has the best music by far. So, just saying.
I don't know. Power Plant's pretty banging.
They bring Mawile to the game.
I know.
And it will be on Topalo.
That one, it's going to be on Tope Hollow?
Yeah.
Bobby's
That one
back
got me a
in,
little
baby.
bit. That's my favorite
He's
Ho in
back
Pokemon by
in.
far. That one got me. Okay, I will say the one thing that could get me back into this game, possibly, but only if for a limited time, would be if they introduced Farfetch'd and it was like a triple leak. Because I feel like that would be, there's no Pokemon where their first stage has leak.
Yeah.
And I feel like if they're going to
yeah.
do that, I'd obviously be Farfetch'd would be the one that has leak.
And then
So if they introduce Farfetch'd with potential triple leak, I might come back just to like check that out for a minute or two.
Nice.
But that might be the only thing that would bring me back to this game.
strategic team building. This maybe fixes Bob's issue. Strategic team building will be even more important. Snorlax's favorite berry for the week will be divided into one main favorite and two sub-favorites. Pokemon that gather Snorlax's main favorite berry will receive various helping-related bonuses. On the other hand, Pokemon that don't gather any of Snorlax's weekly favorite berries will receive a penalty. One additional bonus related to raising Snorlax will be selected at random every week. Rewards you can get from Expert Mode. The amount of drowsy power required for Sleep Stars will greatly increase, but the amount of Research XP, Dream Shards, and candies you get will also increase. You will also have an increased chance of shiny Pokemon. Multiple Expert Mode exclusive weekly missions will be added. These kind of Pokemon will appear on Greengrass Isle in Expert Mode. These kinds of Pokemon that appear in Greengrass Isle in Expert Mode will differ from those that normally appear on Greengrass. And then it says you will need an Expert ticket to take on Expert Mode. You can exchange Expert tickets for Expert tickets at the Sleep Point Exchange. Note, the above features are still in development and might actually differ from when the game is implemented. More details coming in a later update. Please stay tuned. So I think the consensus I saw was everything was excited about this, but people are now worried about how much is an Expert ticket going to cost. Mm-hmm. And I think those concerns are very valid because I do think that Sleep is in a place where Pocket is now, where if you guys remember where Pocket came out, everyone was like, oh my gosh, I have so many hourglasses and so many points because I did all the missions and they were giving out so many. And now Pocket feels like a little dry. They did a lot for the 6-year anniversary or the 6-month anniversary.
6 years.
6 years of TCG Pocket, crazy. But I do feel like there is a Sleep point deficit right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ilka has been too good in not having bugs to then give us Sleep points to apologize for the bugs.
Yeah.
How dare them make a solid game. So yeah, I don't know. If I was to guess how much an Expert ticket would cost, maybe 500, maybe 1,000 points. But like, this does feel like another pay to win thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where, but I don't know. You wouldn't want to do Expert Mode every week, right? Like if Suicune came back, would you really want to Expert Mode the week that Suicune is there?
Right. Well, not only that, but you kind of want to like have teams that could like. Are you going to know what Snorlax's favorite berries for the week are? The ones that are divided into one main favorite, two sub favorites. Are you going to know that until you turn on like the Expert Mode or use the Expert ticket?
Yeah, I don't think so. I would also assume that the reason there is a slight price to it is for you to not game the system. Right? Like like let's say I'm sure they're going to give everyone a free Expert ticket when it comes out. Mm-hmm. And you're going to go to Greengrass, you're going to roll. It's going to be like Dragonberry and then two others. You're going to be like, well, my only dragon is Altaria. And the other two don't. Like, to Bob's point, and not to like pick on Bob, but if Bob's using the same team every single week, and then he decides to pull the trigger on Expert Mode, and all of a sudden none of those berries match,
right? And
then Bob goes into his box and be like, "Oh, I don't have any other Pokemon." That's not a good use of your Expert Mode ticket,
right? That was what I was thinking. Was you're gonna want to have really filled out a pretty diverse set of Pokemon if you don't know beforehand what it's going to be, so that you can switch in kind of anything at that point. Which, to that point, I guess I could see someone using that on a weekly basis. What if they have really filled out their Pokedex?
But that's just a whale player, so the price doesn't affect that person.
Well, that's true.
Like I love Pokemon Sleep, and I'm okay with giving it $10 a month. But even my favorite Pokemon, Cramorant, I wasn't going to spend $70 to get 2 Cramorant incense.
Didn't you catch like 7 Cramorant during the week it came out?
I did, but I used my points. I had like 3 Master Balls because I was saving Master Balls. I critical hit. I got really lucky with critical hits that week.
Nice.
I'm super excited for it. Like if there's, I do have a lot of Pokemon filled out, and some of the Pokemon I just don't really use. Like I have a really good Meganium, but I almost never go to Lapis. And if I do go to Lapis, it might be because, Lapras was closed, so I had to go to Lapis. But like I feel like the one time I went to Lapis and I hit 20 was some ingredient something. And so I didn't even have Meganium on my team, even though it would have been good there. It's just like, I was just grinding ingredients, and I was just doing big meals, and I wasn't running. So I like the force changing. I also think of like people's healing Pokemon. Like I've never not had Wigglytuff on my team.
Yeah.
And if it's saying that, it specifically says like Snorlax will have 1 main berry and 2 sub favorites. If you match its favorite, you will get a bonus. If you don't match any of it, you will receive a penalty. So if Snorlax doesn't have the fairy berry, P.E.K.K.A, I think, because Wigglytuff is
is P.E.K.K.A, yeah.
Yeah. So if it doesn't have a P.E.K.K.A berry that week, how much punishment is my Wigglytuff going to have? Because I don't have another healer.
Mm-hmm.
Also, what's the penalty going to be? Like when they say
that's
when
scary.
they say penalty,
I mean,
like,
it kind of sounds awesome.
Yeah, but like, are you going to maybe like lose more energy for that Pokemon so they won't gather as much, or are you going to get like very few points off the berry? I'm kind of
I would assume
intrigued.
it's losing energy faster.
It could be.
So
yeah.
if your Wigglytuff is losing energy and it's not being able to give energy to other Pokemon, that just hurts your entire team.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is, what if one of the 3 berries isn't any berry that is an energy Pokemon,
Healer.
And then you're not using a healer at all, like because you wouldn't want to take the penalties.
Well, then but that makes okay. So there's like a set of Pokemon like Leafeon, which is or even Slowking, I think, where it's apply HP or energy to a Pokemon, to a random Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And so
those much better, or
it
like
does
much
make
more
those
needed.
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're like, if your main berry is grass, there's not a grass healer besides Leafeon.
I've never used Leafeon.
Yeah. No. Isn't Bellsprout?
Bellsprout heals itself.
Oh, okay.
So if you had like Bellsprout healing itself and then Leafeon healing other things, because like your Tyranitar also heals itself.
Right. Yeah, those heal yourself and heal other Pokemon just became much more important in a situation like this, where you may not actually be able to use a healer if you want to maximize what you're doing during this expert mode. Okay, this expert mode does sound kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh boy.
I'm not jumping back on
We got
Sleep.
him!
No.
Ilka strikes again!
Okay. Ilka, the Pokemon Company, both of you. This is what would really bring me back, other than Farfetch'd. And it seems ridiculous because like I could just wear an Apple Watch, although I don't wear an Apple Watch anymore, so I'm Apple Watch free now.
This is
news to me.
Are you going through a midlife crisis right now?
Who are you?
Who are you?
No more Apple Watch.
You're not going to have your AirPods next week and be like, I got rid of those.
No. Let's not get too wild here. So if there was a way to, and maybe there is, and maybe I'm unaware of this, but the only way I know of tracking the sleep is by using the Go++, or like using your phone But like the app has to stay on or something, doesn't it? If you're actually using your phone to track
I believe
sleep.
so.
Yeah. It's
Right.
recording
So
your
that's-
voice too.
That's a not gonna happen thing. I just don't like using the Go Plus Plus to track sleep. Like I don't like that
Really?
extra thing of having that extra item that I have to like remember to push the button to like.
What if you had 2 Go Plus
Start that
Pluses,
process.
Bobby? What if you had
How
one?
does this help me?
Okay, hear me out. What if you had one that just never left your bed, and then you had one that was in like your bag or your all-day carry that you're taking out to play Go? Because that is a slight issue for me, where like I put my Go Plus Plus in like my sling bag, and then I get in bed, and then I go, I'm so comfy, and now I have to go downstairs and get it on my sling bag.
Can I connect 2 Go Plus Pluses to the?
Yeah, because
Oh, no.
you would connect one to Sleep, and then the other one would be Pokemon Go. I don't think.
You can connect 2 different ones then in that way.
Yeah, why would you not be able to? I actually don't know
Or-
if this is true, but I don't know what technology would stop 2 from being connected.
Okay. Or maybe what I do is I get a second Go Plus Plus,
I like this.
and then I use my iPad to play Sleep and not my phone. And that way my iPad and my Go Plus Plus are paired together and are always, because I don't really use my iPad for anything else. And
Yeah,
that
I
becomes
mean,
like a sleep-only device. And then that is
It's amazing.
what happens. I don't know why I'm trying to figure this out. I don't want to play Pokemon Sleep, but this expert mode actually does sound kind of cool. And if there was an easier way to, I sound ridiculous saying this, but if there was an easier way to track sleep that wasn't the Go Plus Plus, like if I could just do it on the phone somehow without having to keep the app on. If you could just say, okay, I'm tracking sleep now, push a button in the app to say I'm now tracking sleep.
I see.
And then open the app in the morning and say I'm not tracking sleep anymore. It's the exact same thing as the Go Plus Plus. Like it's just,
Have you tried using the Apple Watch?
Have you
method?
tried saying thank you, Bobby?
You ungrateful person, you.
Have you tried just thanking Ilka?
I have used the Apple Watch. I did use the Apple Watch for a period of time with the game, and that was great when I was using an Apple Watch. But I'm not using an Apple. I'm just not going to put an Apple Watch on anymore. So
What about a Fitbit?
Or an Aura Ring, because if it connects to Apple Health, and Apple Health talks, I'm just saying. But
yeah, I'm not putting anything else. I'm not putting any other electronic devices on my body right now. So none of those are going to work.
Okay,
it's just
okay.
what the game needs is you should like be able to just in the game push a button in sleep. I'm asleep now, and then in the morning push a button. I'm awake now. Like just like you would on the Go Plus Plus, but it's just in the app instead, and you can just turn and then you just close the app, and it's fine. Like it doesn't need to be on or whatever. And again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's been updated in some way where it is actually much more doable. But I just don't like having the second device to have to think about when I'm playing this game that doesn't require that much time.
I need 2 things for Pokemon Sleep, and I know Ilka listens to this podcast. I'm sure they do. Thank you, Ilka. Number 1 is when I use a good camp ticket, I want the camp to change colors. Like the tent should be different.
all right, okay.
Yeah.
I want a visual confirmation that I'm good camp ticket. I know it's in the. I want the tent to be different. I
You get the little jingle as well. You get the little dun.
yeah. I want the tent to be different. Not that hard to do, Ilka. Number 2 is I do feel like the expert ticket should be a part of the premium pass, like how you get 1 good camp ticket every month. I feel like you should get 1 expert ticket. I know that most games don't give you more for what they've already milked out of you. Like they're already getting your $10. But I feel like expert ticket should be part of that. I'm just saying.
Those sound like great things. I mean, I don't know. I'm still paying for the app, by the way, because I did this 6-month thing. So like the app, there is still premium happening in my life. It's just I'm not getting anything out of it. So yeah, they could throw all that stuff in there. That'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We're approaching the 2-year anniversary of Pokemon Sleep, so I'm sure something
Are
will
we?
happen.
That's crazy.
Is it? I think it's July, right? July. And
Sounds
July?
about right. Yeah, sounds about right.
If anyone notices that they wake up and have noticed that I'm playing Pokemon Sleep in any time in the future,
Everyone's removed you from
testing
the
purposes. It's testing purposes, okay? I might test a couple things, but I really don't think I'm coming back to this game.
I would be curious if you opened the game and saw how many friends you lost.
0. Everyone removed me.
Okay, I think that's our episode for the freebies. If you're on the premium feed, Patreon, or if you're not, patreon.com/PKMNcast. You can do a free trial if you want. You can do a free trial on Apple Podcasts too. We're gonna wrap up here, but if you're on the premium feed, stick around after the credits. We're just gonna talk a little bit about Scopely and Osaka Go Fest and the 17 bundles they released this last week. It wasn't 17, it was like 3. So that'll be the post show. I know they did some stuff for ZA. I know you're listening to this whole podcast and you're like, they showed the cover art, they have the release date. I know. We're going to talk about that next week.
We could at least say the release date.
October 16th.
All right.
Which is not the same as X and Y, which people are saying. X and Y was on October 12th. It's not the same day. Would have been cool if it's the same day. It's not the same day. But we will give you the detailed 20-minute analysis of the cover next week. Or maybe not, because I don't think it's that big of a deal. All right. Thank you for making it to the end. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Bob. Again, if you're on the premium feed, stick around after the credits. If you're not, jump over to Patreon if you would like no ads, premium feed, Slack access, all that stuff. This has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are
super effective.
Super Scrub Daddy sponsorship coming soon.
I hope one person from Scrub Daddy listens to the show and they run to Mr. Scrub Daddy and they say, "Thank you, Mr. Scrub Daddy. Would you like to sponsor this very delightful podcast?" We'll see you guys next week. Like probably the worst leaving experience I've had, and like worse than trying to get a taxi at the end of Las Vegas, worse than trying to walk out of the Rose Bowl, like worse than any of the the Seattle /New York /Chicago
Rose
stuff.
Bowl